Hello, let's explore the Absolution of Inspiring starter build. Absolution of Inspiring is a spell gem that increases your own damage and reduces the damage your sentinels deal by reducing the maximum count from 3 to 2. Its damage is not the highest, but it has high effectiveness of added damage and can be improved with modifiers to minion damage. It's still a great source of damage when combined with the 60% sourced from the Black Cane. This weapon also grants you the Phantasmal Might that adds physical damage per each phantasm you have summoned. It's good with Absolution, which deals physical damage, later converted to lightning. To summon these phantasms, you will use Herald of Purity and Arcanist Brand linked to Vortex. These skills, after linking with Summon Phantasm Support, have a 20% chance to spawn such minion on hit against rare or unique enemies. Phantasms won't do a lot of damage on their own. It's a cheap league starter build that can be used as a starting point for any other Inquisitor build, or developed into a proper endgame one after some investment and minor adjustments, like using the Awakened spell Cascade support or Cast on Crit. We won't delve into it in this guide. Absolution of Inspiring encourages you to deal damage yourself rather than with sentinels. This version is less suited to rely on sentinels, but causes all increases to minion damage to apply to the damage of this spell at 250%. At 20% gem quality, this number grows to 300%. Your defensive layers are mostly Maximum Life, Energy Shield, Block Chance, Armor, Sap, and Petrified Blood. It's a relatively tanky build, especially after reaching 75% block chance. Reserve over half of your life to take less damage from hits and gain more damage from Pain Attunement. Their speed is average if the rare enemies won't die instantly. Use the Arcanist Brand and curse them. Single target damage is mediocre. It's one of the cheapest builds in the game. All unique items are inexpensive, especially after the first day of a new league. They're all common, even as a loot from endgame bosses. The Black Cane is a core element of the build. Crown of the Inward Eye improves your armor, energy shield, maximum life, and even damage. It's the best helmet for its price if your resistances are already sorted out. The Phantasmal Might from the Black Cane adds physical damage per phantasm you control. You can have up to 11 phantasms, resulting in 440 to 660 added physical damage to spells. Increased cast speed, mana regeneration rate, elemental damage, and even minion damage are all great for this build. You will socket 3 of your mana reserving skills in the Prism Guardian, and reserve around 50% of your maximum life to benefit from Pain Attunement and Petrified Blood. Magna Eclipsis has good stats, a lot of maximum life and energy shield. It also protects you from elemental damage with the Elemental Aegis. It's not our recommended choice. This build is adjusted to use Prism Guardian to reach low life most efficiently. Algor Mortis gloves introduce a major damage boost to your lightning damage and survivability on account of the rare sap ailment. Chilled grounds are created with Vortex and Frostblink. Hyperboreus has most of the valued stats like maximum life and elemental resistance. You can also use it to apply a powerful chill and deal increased damage against such enemies. For a veiled mod, we recommend your critical strike chance is lucky while focused. The Eternal Struggle is a cheap amulet with a lot of attributes, which is great already as you need them anyway. It slows down and reduces damage of your enemies via Malignant Madness or executes them, depending on the dominant flavor of the amulet. In addition to that, it has 2 Eldritch implicit modifiers, some of which can be of substantial value. It increases your ES and armor by up to 15%. If your other ring has the Elder influence, get Mark of the Shaper for a very powerful 80% increased spell damage modifier. All the other stats are very useful as well. Laurie's Lantern has quite a lot of elemental resistances and even some movement speed. You're always on low life, so the Chaos resistance with the unlucky damage against you modifiers will stay on. Your auras are Determination and Zealotry. Determination has some mediocre defensive options, while Zealotry has cast speed and conditional crit chance. It's a very basic spell damage build, and despite the unique trait of Absolution of Inspiring, there are little to no opportunities to get increased minion damage modifiers. Most of the rare gear will aim to improve your defenses, such as resistances, maximum life, energy shield, armor, and life regeneration. You will, of course, need to reach a 100% critical strike chance to ignore enemies' lightning resistance. We suggest a very simple and cheap 6-link body armor that you can probably craft yourself. It only needs some maximum life and elemental resistances. Boots. Here, on top of maximum life and resistances, you will need at least a 25% increased movement speed bonus. The most basic maximum life resistances and strength are what you should look for on a belt. Armor and life regeneration are worth seeking too. On rings, we recommend getting all the necessary dexterity, if you even need it, maximum life, and resistances. Acquiring some chaos resistance via the amethyst base is a good idea. Other modifiers are harder to get. On jewels, seek mostly maximum life, resistances, and attributes. If you need more critical strike chance or critical multiplier, you can get them here too. Large lightning damage or elemental damage cluster jewels may be a good way to spend your points, especially if there are Snowstorm, Doriani's Lesson, or Stormdrinker notables. Use Rumi's Concoction for armor and additional block chance. For magic flasks, get a diamond flask, a silver flask, a quicksilver or granite flask if you don't have Rumi's Concoction, and a life one. Their suffixes should increase your critical strike chance, cast speed, increase armor, or reduce the effect of curses on you. On a life flask, you can get the bleed removal. Absolution of Inspiring is pretty much a basic physical to lightning spell that also benefits from modifiers, do minions damage at 300% of the original value. Link it with physical to lightning, inspiration, increased critical damage, spell echo, and power charge on critical support, gems. Summon Phantasm should not be needed here. You may have seen other creators linking it with the awakened spell Cascade or with cast on crit. These builds are very expensive, and this one aims to be affordable. You can keep these upgrades in the back of your head for now. Use Zealotry for more spell damage and increased spell critical strike chance. Determination grants more and increases armor to take less physical hit damage. Use Herald of Purity for more physical damage, later converted. It also creates minions that will have a chance of summoning phantasms on hit and on kill. Link Herald of Purity with Summon Phantasm support, preferably at gem level 21. Sentinel of Purity will now create phantasms with hits against tough enemies. Arcanist Brand is used to trigger Vortex while you're busy casting Absolution. With Runebinder, you can have 2 of these on a single enemy for more Vortexes. Vortex creates chilled ground and causes enemies to take increased damage with Algor Mortis. It also deals hit damage with a chance of summoning Phantasm. Link it with increased duration and summon Phantasm support. It's a 20% chance of summoning Phantasm per hit against a rare or unique enemy. Try to increase the gem level to 21. Petrified Blood prevents a portion of incoming hit damage and makes it DOT, but only for the lower half of your life pool. The upper half is reserved. And it won't affect your energy shield, so having Corrupted Soul may be a good idea, given your energy shield is not too great compared to life. Use Tempest Shield for additional spell block chance. Defiance Banner increases your armor and reduces crit chance for nearby enemies. Frost Shield drains your energy shield to form a protective stationary dome, inside of which you take less damage and have an increased base critical strike chance. Molten Shell prevents a portion of incoming hit damage for some time. Link these 2 spells with cast when damage taken to trigger them automatically after taking damage. Frostblink is a movement skill that also creates chilled ground. Assassin's Mark increases critical strike chance and multiplier against marked enemy. Link them with Arcane Surge support. After spending enough mana on linked spells, it grants you the Arcane Surge buff for increased cast speed and mana regeneration rate. Activate Ve'al Righteous Fire for a brief but potent bonus to your spell damage. Alternatively, you can use Vitality or Clarity here instead. You should kill all 3 bandits and receive 2 additional skill points. For a major god, you can select Brine King or Arakali. Brine King prevents getting stunned multiple times in a row and grants you freeze immunity. Arakali reduces damage over time, especially chaos damage over time taken. Soul of Aberoth seems like the best minor god. It reduces the ignite duration on you by 60%. On the passive skill tree, get elemental and lightning damage, maximum life, cast speed, critical strike chance and multiplier, reservation efficiency, block chance, maximum power charges, and minions deal increased damage nodes. For keystones, select Pain Attunement and Runebinder. Get the Mana Mastery for increased mana reservation efficiency and Life Mastery for 50 extra life. You can also go for Reservation Mastery and its Life Reservation Efficiency, or Elemental Mastery for a 3% chance of dealing 300% extra elemental damage sourced from physical damage. That is all we have to say about this build. Leave your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for the next build guides.